welcome to the first blockchain event from the Startup Club. I'll give you a little bit about the history, how I ended up here. So I've been contacted by them since I worked with Oliver, one of the founders in the past at Creditech. And he always told me like, hey, you should join the club. You should be the fintech advisor. And at that point, I really didn't want to do it. I was really busy with other things. And he kept on contacting me and he said, hey, I can't believe you don't have any blockchain in the club. This is like a great industry. Why are we not doing this? And I finally was able to convince him. And here we are, having our first event. So thank you guys for supporting me in my first round. I hope it goes great and you guys enjoy it and we have fun. So this is how it will go. So the advisors will give a short intro about themselves, try to keep it for us 1 minute approx. And then each startup will do their pitch. It will be a 5-minute pitch and each advisor will give them their point of view. So that will take 10 minutes after each pitch. So it should be 2.5 minutes each of the advisors. And then we will do a close-up Q&A. Everyone can pretty much give their whole view about how the event was. Okay, so we will start in this round for the advisors to introduce yourselves. So it will be Christopher, Rohan, Alison, and Alex. So let's go in that order. Chris, you're going.
Cool. Hi, everybody. Christopher von Hessert. I have a couple of roles. I've been in the IT business for, more than 20, 25 years, more or less, working, starting as a developer and then growing up into the cybersecurity space, where I currently manage a team of cybersecurity experts for one of the top software as a service companies. During that is my day job, and obviously as a night job, I've been very passionate about cybersecurity, cybersecurity that led me through the actual blockchain rabbit hole, because cybersecurity is very much related to the blockchain, the technology itself, not the coins going up and coins going down. So I'm very much into the technology, the different technologies that are built on top of a blockchain. And for the last, I would say 7 years or something like that, I've been angel investing and as well recently started advising for a couple of startups that are looking to move, for example, from Web 2 all the way to Web 3. So normal internet companies trying to move into blockchain. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thanks, Chris. Rohan, if you want to go ahead.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Pleasure to meet you guys. My name is Rohan, and I've been working in the VC industry for about 2.5 years. So I started working at VC at First Bridge Ventures, which is a late-stage person. VC, we invest in anything to do with tech. And I got into blockchain about 4 years ago when my friend, he was looking for a writer to be able to explain his technology to investors and tell them what they're doing, because to them, it just seemed like a lot of big fancy words. So I kind of helped contextualize to the investors what was exactly what they were selling. So what he was trying to do is he was trying to create a marketplace for artworks but using the blockchain. And after that, I kind of liked the fact that I kind of thought that the blockchain is a much growing industry. And also I believe that there was a lot of potential synergies that I could exploit. So what I did was I started becoming a content creator, and I started writing a lot of white papers for a bunch of different tokens and also blockchain companies. Unfortunately, only one of them out of the 16 that I wrote white papers for are still alive. But I guess it's the 80-20 rule didn't apply here. But hopefully the one that is going to be very successful. Lately, we as a fund, First Bridge has been looking to actively get into the metaverse and blockchain companies. While we're late stage, we have lately expanded to early for blockchain because we want to really get exposure to the sector, and we really believe that's the future going forward.
Thanks, Rohan. Alison.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I've been working in emerging tech on strategic positioning, messaging, and go-to-market for 20 years, and fell down the blockchain rabbit hole quite a while ago. What I noticed was that there were so few people that understood it. I sought to carve out a good portion of my time to educate and bring others into the space. So in 2018, I wrote a book on blockchain technology, trying to help people understand, non-technical people understand what the potential is, and do courses and talks and write what I can to be able to share, hey, this is happening and you need to pay attention. And so as you can imagine, this last year has been incredibly exciting for me. So when I work with a portfolio of companies in terms of strategic communications, positionings, go to market. I'm the chief of advocacy for Unfinished, which is a new organization with a philanthropic heart that's looking at impact opportunities in Web3. And do a variety of speaking and talking on the space. So I'm really looking forward to today.
Thank you, Alison. Alex?
Yeah, hey guys. I'm a software developer. I don't know if all of you guys are familiar with Synthetics. It's a derivatives trading protocol on Ethereum. So I've been working there for a while, and then Kane, who's the founder of Synthetics, came up with Aelin protocol. It's a decentralized funding protocol. So basically, as if protocols want to raise money early stage or late stage, right now the easiest is just to go through VC. You could do like LBPs, but it's a lot of market-driven mechanisms, and you don't know for sure what pricing you're going to get. So Aelin really helps you raise money from a larger community, but instead of negotiating with 1,000 people, you only negotiate with one person. So it's very similar to decentralized SPACs, if you guys are familiar with SPACs in traditional finance. Anyway, I'm a full stack dev, do the contracts, subgraphs, front end, and just like I'm Alex the Bored Ape on Twitter if you guys want to follow me. Pretty anon and just excited to be here and see what's going on. So yeah.
Thanks, Alex. Thanks, everyone. You guys are great. So this is how the startups will pitch. We will start with Ben from The Cake, then John from TradeFlow will follow, and Simon from Maison DAO. So Ben, go ahead. Feel free to share your screen and try to stay in under 5 minutes if it's possible. Thanks.
I will. I'm going to start my stopwatch and everything. So yeah, thanks for the intro, Thomas. And yeah, shout out to Alex, big fan of Synthetics. Been following those guys for a while. So yeah, thanks for the introduction, Thomas. I'm Ben. I'm the founder and CEO of The Cake. I've been involved in crypto since about 2013 and seen a lot of carnage over the years, a lot of rug pulls, a lot of scamming, and generally a lot of confused people trying to understand what it is. Being a UX and product guy, I've been kind of scratching my head and thinking about where the gaps are. I found myself in situations where at 3 in the morning, I've been desperately trying to get some live on-demand support for Cardano, trying to move their coins to another wallet, and it just wasn't there. A lot of people coming to me asking the same questions again and again. And I've sought out kind of on-demand support services in the crypto ecosystem, but they're just not there. We've seen exponential growth in 2021 to 17 billion inflow, and by 2025, 37 billion. So the reason for that growth is huge value flooding into the space, thousands of projects launching every single day. And with those projects, you know, tens of thousands of new users coming into the space. But again, the support isn't there. And so we've built it. It's called The Cake. It's a chat service that provides consumers and businesses with crypto and blockchain advice from our pool of trusted experts. And it's pretty simple. You come onto The Cake, you search for the topics that you're interested in, you find an advisor to chat with, and the advisors actually earn our token. So the product is live now. You can go to thecake.chat, check it out. We've been building up our trusted advisors. We've got 60 of them. Like I said, advisors earn our token for applying to chat. They also get a profile page. They can put their bio on there, so they can raise their profile, but also kind of passively earn this token if they decide to engage with the users. We've got over 60 advisors that we've been canvassing for the last year. Some of them are thought leaders in the space, which we're really proud of. And actually in the last year, a lot of their profiles have gone up as well. So we're slowing down on advisor subscriptions now, and we're turning our attention to the users. Advisors compete for trust and quality marks. They start out as advisors, they're screened by myself, and the certain metrics that we track, so bot scores, engagement metrics, whether they've got accreditations, whether they've got topic badges, and they can go up through advisor to expert to governor, and the higher their trust score, the more DSUP they're going to earn. We did some market research not long ago. It was interesting to find out that users are more likely to pay for chat replies than they are per minute. So we slightly kind of pivoted our messaging around that. We've got a subscription model which brings kind of B2B subscribers in for a fee. They can get access to pro advisors, but there's lots of other ways that we can kind of make money from the platform as well. Our DAO participation is open at the moment. Seed A, we're looking for 120K. Like I said, the product's been built, the chat app works. We've got 60 advisors waiting to take chat requests. So really, we're just looking to kind of use these funds to kind of open up the next stage gate for the project. Product development, so moving from Web 2 to Web 3, and a bit of marketing. We turned the cake into a DAO a couple of weeks ago. We've minted our tokens, and now we're creating a rate card which defines exactly how much DSUP advisors and community contributors can earn. We've got a founding team that we're growing out. We've added to this team since this deck's been created, and we've got a lot more people kind of helping us out, manning our Discord channels, growing up our Telegram, and we've brought on a social media marketing manager to help us with that as well. So yeah, we've got 3 partners. So blockleaders.io are working with us, Crypto Code Club, which I'm sure you guys know about, and Drawl, who are a London branding agency who've been helping us with our web design. I wanted to try and keep it quite short. That's 4 minutes because I just wanted to kind of move over to the actual app just to kind of prove that the chat is working. You can go on there now. It's thecake.chat. You can find advisors that are online. You can search for them. Some of these advisors have got really, really awesome credentials. And we've got a guy called Ben Leon here. He actually sits on HMRC's crypto advisory board. So if businesses want help with like tax and legal and litigation stuff, you're going to find advisors on the cake that can help you with that. We've got investors in there. We've got people that do day trading. We've got people that do general wallet support. So you can kind of search for these kind of things and you're going to find advisors. At the moment, these advisors are basically like on board on the platform because they believe in the future of the cake. We're just building out the social graph, which measures their kind of response rates and their trust scores. And we're just about to toggle the pro profiles on, which means we'll be able to start kind of selling subscriptions to kind of corporate customers, blockchain innovation centers within Vodafone, and businesses like that. So I wanted to try and keep it brief because I know you guys have probably got quite a few questions. So if it's okay with you, Thomas, I'll open the floor up for discussion.
Yeah, that's perfect. So shall we keep the order? Christopher, Rohan, Alison, and Alex? That's fine. Guys, 2.5 minutes with each. So go ahead.
Sure. So thank you, Ben. That looks very interesting. I've seen a couple of these models in Web 2, mainly more related to like sports and influencers and things like that, where if you need support from a marketing expert, you need support from a nutrition expert, to grow your business. I've seen I've basically seen it in like the TV shows from the US and stuff like that. So I wonder how are you going to make sure that your advisors remain advisors, that they dedicate the amount of time that you have with them, that they will be able to remain in the platform? Is that incentivized through the token basically that you will be providing, or?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of, tokenized incentives all the way. The cool thing is that advisors that have signed up don't have to sit on the platform. They can sit there passively in their own time. If somebody wants to chat to them, they can pick their phone up and go, oh, Matt, I'm too busy, I can't be bothered. But then they can go, well, actually, I can earn DSUP now if I reply. And every time they engage, they're kind of going up that leaderboard. So the more they engage, the more they can earn. And then they can go up through the ranks. And as they go up through the ranks, they can start winning NFT multipliers. And it really does sort of gamify the engagement.
And on the way down, for example, if somebody is not really providing good feedback or is not being attentive to the users or, and things like that, is there a way to, I would say, demote or remove or things like that?
Yeah, so the DSUP they earn is theirs. But if they're engaging regularly, the multipliers kick in. So if they're engaging every day, they're going to get more. if there's a positive rating for an advisor, they get a bonus and we'll burn tokens as well. If there's a negative review on an advisor, all the sort of DAO members will sort of jump on that and look at that and inspect it and work with them to kind of weed out any kind of illicit actors. We've also got a guy called Mitch who does machine learning chat development for us. So he's able to scan the chat logs and kind of, flag any scammy links, or, if people are trying to game the system, we can get alerts on that as well.
Cool. Thank you.
I'm happy to go. So
Go.
I was thinking a lot as you were talking about segmentation and what segments you're going for first, because that will form what kind of advisors you want to have, what kind of like the matching. And I got really interested. I was really happy to see that you're thinking about corporate outreach. And I think that, whatever direction you go with the segmentation will definitely change the shape of what advisors you want to bring on, and also what kind of pricing packages or subscription models you go for. And I can tell you from personal experience that there is a lot of money to be had in terms of accessing corporations and the kinds of questions they have, but there's a lot of people with a very wide range of knowledge. And so, the range of questions you're going to get and the kinds of advisors you need to build and the kinds of packages you want to charge to corporations all will be influenced by that segment question. And I'd also encourage you to really think about some pretty rich packages for corporations, because so I think it'll be really interesting. And with that in mind, how are you ensuring that the advisors are, how is the income from subscription models and tied to the token, to the success of the DAO, there's a very, to be very carefully aligning the activities of the advisors in the network to be able to support the most revenue into the system. How are you approaching that?
So I've been building out a rate card, and it doesn't just cover advisors, it covers everybody that engages with the DAO. So if you're a content contributor, you'll earn a certain amount. If you've got a bigger social following, that multiplies as well. So when it comes to like B2B customers, if I've got a meeting with BT on Monday, by the way, actually, which is really exciting to talk to them about this. So I'm totally stoked about that. And if pro advisors are being accessed and engaged through these subscribers, then their multipliers go up as well. So there's a much higher incentive to engage with those type of users than there is a kind of free user. So we've kind of mapped out the users. This is scale. So people that need crypto because their systems are broken, people that want it but they're still too cautious, people that get it and want to grow it and get yield, and then the subscriptions are coming from the sort of B2B guys. So we've done that. We've got a market research survey that breaks down those B2B audiences as well. And so we know the topics that they want. We know the kind of areas of expertise that they want as well. So it was 150 respondents, so not a huge data set, but enough to give us a good indication that, they want the service, they're going to pay for the service, and a little bit of information about, the things that they want answered.
Great.
Am I cracking up, or are you guys still receiving me?
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. Everyone's here. So Rohan, if you want to go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like going third is a little tough because all the questions and concerns that I wanted to discuss have already been gone through. But what I want to say is that this is definitely a very, very interesting sector, simply because it's still a nascent industry and there's still a lot of misinformation. So it's always great to be able to have advisors or people who can give you the right information and you can trust the information, because there's a lot of stuff out there that's not really reliable. So it's very useful to have this feature. And I wish I had something like this 5 years ago when I was researching and learning about blockchain myself. So it'd be great. What I kind of want to know, and this is a big thing, is what's the response rate for advisors? Because we've been looking at a customer service company as well who provides support to clients. And the biggest thing that people always request our company is that how fast the response rate, because if they're slow or they take too long, people either find other solutions or they don't stay on the platform.
Yeah, exactly. So I think first point, most people don't want to spend time like scanning through blogs or getting caught up in scammy Telegram groups. They want quick answers. So that is really what's driving this product. Quick on-demand answers, you know, within the minute. And again, the faster advisors are responding, the more multipliers they're going to get. So as soon as they're responding, they're on the leaderboard, and then they're sort of incentivized to sort of, you know, play the game of support. And that should drive speed of reply as well. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Your screens have locked up my end, but hopefully, Rohan, you got that.
No, I can hear you. I can hear you very clearly.
Cool.
And is there any criteria for selecting advisors? Do you have some sort of screening method that you do before you put the advisor on board?
I haven't sort of documented that. I do it myself. So I've got a team in Croatia who go out and specifically like find advisors based on the topics that I want to cover. So I'm trying to like get a really nice broad topic support first, and now we're going after like specific. So now we're getting like NFT and metaverse experts because we know there's a demand there. That's the great thing about this business, is that as crypto evolves, you know, we're the platform that hosts the conversation, so we can never get old.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely. I mean, the reason I asked this question is because based on how relevant the advisor is and how informed the advisor is, it would then drive retention and also lead to more people coming on the platform. If the screening isn't great and the advisors coming on the platform aren't always the most informed, it's going to lead to bad press, and that's going to harm your business going forward, I believe so.
Yeah, absolutely. So we hit 60 advisors last week. And now not only are we being really selective about who we bring on, we're actually going back over the original advisors, you know, are they good enough? And we're actually just culling them, you know, if they haven't got bios, they're gone. If there's no avatar, they're going to the bottom of the pile. So really it's about like, you know, building on what we've got and just maintaining that quality, like all the way to the top.
Okay.
Alex?
Yeah, sure. So I guess a few things. One is, I think if this is successful, you guys are going to be scammed pretty heavily. Like people will just sign up on both sides and send messages back and forth. And although I guess if you're paying DCERT on the user side, it wouldn't make sense. You're just paying it to yourself, right? So that being said, I think there could be a trust issue. Like you guys could just make fake usage, right? Like how would outside users know that it's real volume on your protocol and not just you guys sending it back and forth? But anyway, I don't think that's as relevant. Another thing is like, so if you guys are doing was it DCERT as payment, and then like there's a bear market and DCERT falls 99%, I just suspect everyone would leave the platform because like they just spent like a year doing services for like $1. So that's something to keep in mind. I think maybe like a USDC, SUSD, some sort of stable coin as like 90% of the payment would be better. And then the question is, how do you drive value to your token if it's not the key piece here? Also, if you do have like a permissionless system, which is kind of the core foundation of crypto, like how do you get quality? And I think like, you know, most experts don't know that much about crypto or blockchain. It is just my opinion. And I do think there's a lot of liability here. And the question is, if you're gatekeeping everything on the client, like it's like you say, if you don't have this, you go to the bottom. If you don't have that, you go to the bottom. I think you are putting yourself in a lot of liability there. So, you know, it's like, look at Uniswap, right? They are in the crosshairs of the SEC. I think it's just because of the client that they manage, but they have to do that because anybody can launch a Uniswap pool, right? So there's a lot of scams on Uniswap, and they have to do their best to filter that out on the front end. Let's see. One thing you can look at is Lens protocol. It's a social graph built by the Aave protocol. It's coming out soon. It's not even in production yet, but you could sort of use that as like maybe a more trusted social network layer that you could build something like this on top of. And then yeah, so if you're scanning everything with these like AI algorithms, how do you ensure privacy on the network, right? Like that seems kind of tough. So if everything's open and you guys can read everything, isn't that kind of bad for users if there's no privacy? And if there is privacy, how do you ensure quality, right? Like you can't read the messages, so you don't know if the people are getting good advice or not, right? So anyway, that's some thoughts.
Yeah, well, thank you. There was a lot to think about there. I love the stablecoin idea. That's a cool idea. Just to touch on the trust thing, that's the game we're playing. How do you ensure, we're never going to be 100% trust, but we want to be the safest place in crypto to get advice. And that's the game, that's the brand. So anything we can do to drive that is going to be better than Telegram. It's going to be better than Reddit. And that's the game we're playing.
Yeah,
Thanks,
sorry, one last thought. You don't necessarily need to build like a Web3 business with a token to be a Web3 company. You could be a Web2 business that charges USD and takes a fee, and you like basically manage a network of advisors. I think it might almost be better. I don't know, just some thoughts. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Alex.
Great. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Ben. It was great. So shall we move on? John from TradeFlow.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Thomas, for having me here. So let me just share my screen to be ready. So officially, greetings, everyone. My name is Josh Aslanis. I'm one of the co-founders of TFLOW. Of course, I've been into crypto from 2008. I evolved as an investor in 2017. And in 2018, I launched a crypto newsletter. And me and my team had the opportunity to communicate and interact with 16,000 people that contact us through the crypto newsletter. And through that, we were able to build an experience of what the new crypto user really needs when it comes to crypto. So one thing that we really understood was that nowadays it's crypto investor, micro investor that joins the blockchain. They join the crypto for the wrong reason. And this is why, and the reason is quick profit. They join crypto for quick profit, which is a mistake. And practically there is no chance of winning in doing trades or finding the next 100x coin. So everyone at the end actually wishes to deliver control of their crypto wealth to a third party. And this is why a lot of copy trading platforms emerged, because they took the risk of handling your own crypto and you went and assigned this to another party. And this is why a lot of platforms arise from that. And but at the end, I believe, and we believe, and we experience that the human emotions are the best obstacle when it comes to completely successful trades. And that was the idea behind TFLOW. So we designed TFLOW as a decentralized finance cryptocurrency that would offer automated trading. And after thousands of hours into trading, we designed our own trading algorithm, which actually is a medium-term strategy in investing and protects our users from losing their money into making continuous trades. So from the other side, what we also realized is that the real economy is lacking of using the blockchain. And as Alison mentioned, a lot of businesses want to get into Web3 and to blockchain, but they don't know how to use it. And one of the most important things that you can do with blockchain is tokenization. And by tokenizing your business services, you will be able to draw liquidity from micro investors when actually an investor, in order to join a fund, must actually invest a lot of money, or at least 100K, to go into crypto fund. So there is a big gap to fill there. So this is why we targeted from the first side to design the TFLOW as an auto trading platform. So from the one side, we want to offer to our audience, to our users, automated trading, so they are safe and they do not have to trade. We can do that for them. We also, this is going to be done through our coins. So by holding TFLOW coins, you are able to access the platform and allocate your funds to the automated bots. And while you are in the platform and you are profiting from the platform, we are going to give tokens back as a loyalty reward, because when someone profits the platform, we get success fees. So we are going to reward them as well with our coin. So the first use of the coin is the ticket to join these crypto services. And the second is a loyalty reward. So as long as you stay and you invest your capital in the platform and win for the services, you get coins back. And one of the main advantages is at the same environment, without having to leave the platform and go to another service, you will be able to invest in tokenized services from real companies, from the real market. So you'll be able to invest in real estate, in shipping, in energy projects. We are finding and we are forming strategic partnerships with a lot of companies in a lot of business sectors. So our users are actually able to invest in these companies and actually limit the risks, especially when you have a bear market. You know very well that cryptocurrencies do not perform well when there is a bear market. We have the last bear market lasted 3 years. We don't know where the next one is coming. So as a target market, we have the middle class, which are actually people that have money, but they're insecure on how to invest in crypto. We also have the millennials, who are young people who are willing to take the risk to explore new solutions. They may not have as much money, but they are willing to risk. That means that they will join crypto more easily than the middle class. But both of them are, of course, clients for our use case, for our platform. So what are the problems that the millennials have when it comes to crypto? Of course, they don't have enough time to focus in learning more about crypto. They have low income streams. They have many of them have a lot of debt, and they have pressure also to succeed in life. And when it comes to middle class, they don't have enough time again to study. Who of us has time right now to get to study what crypto is and initially learn about a new market? Of course, when they have their money in banks, they have negative interests. And of course, there is a high risk of making a standalone investment, putting your money on only just one pod. So what we offer them as a solution is actually the benefit from auto trading. They don't have to trade, they don't have to subscribe. They can just try the platform out without paying something and see if they can make money out of it. They become early adopters of the coin. They create new income streams without having any risk to take any risks. And when it comes to the middle class, they are able to invest in crypto without risks. And they also become adapters of the new technology, then can create extra income streams, and of course, invest in real assets through tokenization and not by purchasing stocks. You know, it's completely different to buy a token than to buy a company share. So as for the market, we all know very well that right now the crypto market is growing. We might have 4 months of a bearish trend, but the potentiality is there. As for competition, we aim to compete with, of course, these are platforms are a guidance to us, but platforms as eToro, PrimeXBT, AvaTrade have proven that the copy trading platform works and gives us back results. So our unique selling point for our startup is, of course, we have a profit sharing model with no subscriptions. We have the automated trading bots. I will show you the results right now. We have investment pools in the real market economy for all of our users to invest. We just don't have to go through KYC or invest in stocks. And of course, they can resell the TFLOW coins to other investors that might come after them. Of course, we have AI and machine learning behind our trading algorithm. We have signed and we are about to sign a lot of companies that really want to create tokens around real estate, shipping, and other technologies. And of course, as I told you, you can enter the crypto economy without risk. You don't have to enter an exchange. You just put your money in the wallet, in the platform, and then you can allocate it to whichever service has the best proven results. And when I talk about the results, our trading algorithm has proven a lot the last year. Of course, 1 year ago, holding crypto was the best strategy. But if you didn't know anything about crypto and you just wanted to give control to a bot, you would see that our bot would just make a few trades within a year range and will have a good profit in each coin. We have some profits that we have 100%. Of course, it's not, you cannot design the perfect algorithm to have 100% results. And of course, we have another functionality that protects our holders from maximum loss. So if you hold crypto, you would have, for example, in Bitcoin, a drawdown of 54%, while having our algorithm which will only lead to a 30% drawdown. And you know, when you have a drawdown in crypto, you have selling pressure and you are pressed to sell. So for our investment pools, we have focused in shipping, real estate, energy, and yachting. And these industries are going to give an annual interest to our investors at these percentages that I'm showcasing right now. Of course, I will share the presentation for you. It will be available after my presentation finishes here. So we have a very good competitive advantage. We already have a strong crypto community from our crypto newsletter. These are almost 60,000 people. And we already have 400 investors on board because we have our pre-sale live right now. and we have gathered around 800K from 400 investors from 26 countries, which are very good for the traction of the project. We have an initial target to finalize our pre-sale by the end of March at 2 million. And afterwards, of course, we have designed our marketing activities. We are going to lead to growing our community, creating an org exchange, and signing up a lot of companies that are going to create quality investment pools for our investors. So the traction will come from customers. Customers will come for the ease of use of the platform, of course, and for the investment pools. We're going to have partners that will want to, on a B2B level, we want access to liquidity. So we will sign companies on a B2B level to create their own tokens within the platform so they can raise money from our community. Of course, we are already present in a lot of media.
John, yeah,
Yes.
Start wrapping up. Yeah, let's start wrapping up a little bit.
Of course, just to finalize everything, we have patented our algorithm, and as a team, we have a young team that is willing to go far in this project. So as I mentioned, we have a lot of good advisors with us. And as I mentioned, just to wrap this up, we have two main services, as I mentioned, the auto trading bots and the investment pools, which is a new hybrid decentralized finance model. And this is what we aim to take to the market in the next months. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. So why don't we do it differently? So maybe Rohan, you want to start? So you don't go third?
Oh yeah, no, great. Thank you so much. So John, very interesting company. Before I start, I want to tell you that we invested in eToro last year. So you're kind of talking to a competitor right now. So, but what I can say is, I mean, our investment in eToro has done so quite well at the moment. But what I can say, one of the concerns that we had with the copy trading platform was the reliability of the copy traders, because there's a lot of people who just have a high AUM, or they're kind of rich and then they just put 100K on the platform and they call themselves a copy trader. So from what I understand, you guys are going to be using bots to do to solve this issue.
Yes, our own bots. We designed the trading algorithm. We have tested it, and we trust only our technology. We don't trust third-party copy traders. We also experience this problem with other copy trading platforms.
Yes, exactly. So I wanted to ask you, what kind of people are you onboarding onto the platform? Because you said you already have 3,000 investors, so I kind of wanted to get an idea of.
There are investors in our pre-sale. The platform is not still online. This is why we are going into a pre-sale, so we can gather the funds in order to set up the platform. So right now, any investor is just a pre-sale investor. They're just acquiring the token and getting some access to our algorithm as an indicator in trading view, so they can start trading with it.
Okay, interesting. Another thing that we had noticed was the fact that most of crypto trading happened during volatile times when it was going up or down. That's when most of the action happened. So what do you do in terms of times when the markets are quite stable? Because at that point, we've noticed that there's not much trading going on from especially retail investors. Is there some ways to incentivize them to continue trading, or for them to stay on the platform even when times are not that volatile?
Well, what we have done with our algorithm actually is what we have analyzed the market, and we have divided the market into 6 phases. So the algorithm recognizes in which phase the market is. So when we have a healthy market, which means that we have a volatile market, or it's consolidating, it is going up. This is where we have most of the signals going in. So our traders can, based on the platform, can trade. But when we have a bearish trend like we have right now, you cannot trend because it's full of bull traps. So the algorithm doesn't show any trade signals when we have a market in a bearish phase. So we protect the traders. We don't need them to do a lot of trades. We need them to do quality trades, which means that you might do 10 to 12 trades per year, but you go into just before the bottom and you exit just before the top. And actually, I will give you access to our trading algorithm so you can test it out.
Sure, I'd love to. Great. That's it from my side.
Thanks. Alex, do you want to go next?
Sure. So, okay. Well, a few things. One is, when you put without risk on a deck like that, it's kind of like a big red flag to me. So like, there's always risk, right? and there's probably like, I could go through like 10 things that could cause issues off the top of my head. I don't know. I'm just saying that it's something to think about, right? Because even if your algorithm has might have been running, but like just one example. So you're back testing against results you have. Let's say that this platform becomes popular. The amount of capital in your bot will change the outcomes, right? And it might have worked under certain conditions, but maybe, we see new market conditions or there's different levels of capitals in the pool now, and that could change the way the algorithm runs. Maybe there's a bug that you don't know about, which only happens if you have more capital in the system, right? So just something to think about, like the terminology. Also, I don't love the idea of off-chain stuff, like all these pools where you have like real estate or shipping or this or that, because now you're bringing all this trust into the system. So, I mean, from everything I've heard, it's very much a centralized system you're building. Like your algorithm is probably not open source, right? So how do people trust the trades that is happening on the platform? How do they know it's not a Ponzi where the first money coming in is being given back as rewards, right? So if you're going to put this stuff on chain, like, and keep a lot of stuff closed source and use off-chain stuff, it definitely like puts in a lot of trust assumptions around the platform, and that puts you guys in liability, especially if you're putting out like this is a platform without risk. There's actually a lot of risk, I think. Couple other things. Let's see. So there are other platforms like DHedge. I don't know if you've heard of DHedge, but it's basically like you put your money into pools on Ethereum, right? And these are trustless pools where you have a trader acting on your behalf, and they're limited in what they can invest in certain assets on chain, and they can run their own strategies around that. They can make whatever trades they want, but they never take ownership of your funds, right? And then that's an open platform where you can have people compete for user funds. So you have like maybe 1,000 traders, and everything's decentralized and there's no custody. So that's a business model that makes a lot of sense to me, where like you let's say I have like $10,000, I can look at the historical, everything's on chain. There's rules, so they can't put my money into like a real estate deal where maybe there's like I don't even know if that property exists, right, in real life. And the question is, how do you verify that? And then if you're dealing with all these regulations, like how do you onboard like random people from the internet? That's like part of the Web3 is all permissionless, right? So if you're selling like real estate deals in the US, and
Alex,
then you're allowed, yeah.
Sorry,
sorry.
Let's try to wrap it in.
Okay.
Yes, Alex, yes, I can give some answers to Alex, Thomas.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, firstly about the amount changing the algorithm results, let me tell you that we're going to use, of course, all the results from our trades will be on the blockchain, of course. It's going to be there crystal clear for everyone to see the results of each bot, so they can allocate in the best bot, of course. Secondly, we are not going to have one pool. It's going to be a master account, but with a lot of sub accounts. So each account is going to invest individually. So we'll have a bunch of small pieces going as a big order. When it comes to real estate and tokenization, I understand it's centralized, but when you use the security token offerings technology, we have a specific strategic partner, which is a legal firm specialized in security token offerings. So we are not going to onboard any random real estate asset. We're going to be investment companies with real assets. And of course, every investment is going to be insured by the insurance company. So we make sure that our people and our investors don't lose their money. Okay, so these are just two answers I can give you. Of course, we can make a lot of discussion afterwards in a private chat if you are willing, because we give a lot of thought about what you said.
Sure. I won't keep going for now. Let's let the next person go.
Alison, yeah.
Yeah, so for me, as you were speaking, I was wondering, who is the target audience for this? And what you shared, middle class and millennials, is extremely broad. And what's going to be very important is to understand with incredible fine tuning, who is your target audience? What are their psychographics as well as their demographics? So what are their attitudes, their beliefs, and how does that match up to the value proposition in your product? So that there's an incredible amount of work I think you need to do to be able to understand that. And I'll also note that this is, there are so many of those segments, so much of a large swath of those segments that are suspicious, confused about this space. And what I saw in terms of the messaging was something that you couldn't understand without a great deal of sophistication. And so we need to keep in mind that a confused mind will say no. So I think that will create a considerable friction in being able to get someone to take an action that doesn't have some kind of an additional connection to you or the team. And so I think really understanding, and my first suggestion would be to come up with a hypothesis about what is driving your particular segment with much more fine tuning, and then go out and find a bunch of those people who don't know you and do research and find out, this is what we're looking for. What do you think about it? And do research to understand how they talk about what is the pain or need that you meet. But I think there's a lot of work to do in terms of segmentation. Who's your profile of your target user? Why would they choose you? What is the friction and questions they'll have about it? How do you overcome that? And how do you message in a very clear way that gets them to act? It's extremely difficult, and there's a lot of noise. So that would be my key observation and piece of advice.
Well noted. It's very important what you're saying. It's very useful. Of course, it's very difficult when it comes to blockchain and communication with all those rug pulls and all these meme coins and all this noise over the internet about blockchain and coins. To distinguish yourself as a legit project is something difficult, and you have, as you mentioned, Alison, to focus on your customer profile in order to board them. You don't need all of them. You just need some of them to come into, because then afterwards, word of mouth will do its work.
Well, each person that is also you need them to be able to repeat it too. So keep in mind that word of mouth can go so far, but you need to be able to arm them with very clear messaging. So
thanks.
Chris?
Yeah, I'll try to be quick over here. No, I'll focus a little bit on the technology and the privacy aspects, similar to ask. To me, one of the most important things that you can do, and I think you've already started about it, 100% decentralization and trustlessness is almost impossible. No, there's some certain part of trustlessness. So while you should be aiming as much as possible to provide as many details to your investors, to your community about what's happening over there, ensure that you are providing, proof of funds, for example, where the money is. You mentioned trades being in the blockchain and registered. All these type of things. You don't have to be 100% a crypto company in that type of sense, but as much as possible, try to provide transparency over what is going on the back end. Now, many times you need to keep things confidential. That's completely understandable. You don't want to share, if you really have great algorithms in your machine learning and your artificial intelligence, that's your intellectual property. You don't want to put it out there for anybody else to copy, possibly. So it's completely understandable. But at the same time, it's important that you provide that visibility to your users. Hey, these are the pools. These are the real-time, amounts that are located into the pools. These are the real-time trades that are going on. If you're using decentralized exchanges like Uniswap or things like that, show, this is a trade we made. If you're not using decentralized, and you're using things like Binance or, FTX or things like that to do the different trades, maybe you can show the trade receipts. You can share your accounts and all those type of things. That will help you really gain trust of your users. And hopefully, it's easy to get the first guy to put $100 or $1,000, but how do you get that guy to then put another 1,000 or put another 10,000 or put $1 million into your platform? You need to gain their trust, and the best way you can do it is providing transparency. And that's really what blockchain, the metaverse, is behind it. Now, today we use blockchain technology for that. Tomorrow it may be a different technology, but in the end, it's all about transparency, visibility, and obviously security for the funds of the users. So as much as the more you can share about that, the more you can provide to your users, even if it's only to your users and not to the whole world, I believe that the best you can do for your business, specifically because of the nature of your business.
We'll do so, Christopher. It's really important what you are mentioning. clarity, and is one of the things we want to follow. This is why we're going to the blockchain. We will follow this that you are mentioning. This is our policy, but we didn't show it, of course. I couldn't show everything 5 minutes, but we follow this guidance of yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everyone, for the feedback. It was really good. So we have our last pitch, which is Simon from Maison DAO. So Simon, if you want to go ahead.
Yes, sure, I will. Let me just share the screen. Okay, can everybody see it? Okay, awesome. So welcome everyone. My name is Simon. It is awesome to be here. Very nice presentations before, and also the opinions of the advisors. Really appreciate already. I learned a lot already. But about my project. My name is Simon. I come from Poland originally, but for the last 5 years I was in Berlin. Back in Poland, I was in charge of building fashion communities for up to 30,000 people, organized a lot of trade shows, music events, running online community and brick and mortar showroom for 5 years. And then when I moved to Berlin, I started to work in tech startups, in AR startups, machine learning startups, because I wanted to up my game in technology. I always wanted to connect fashion and tech, but definitely, yeah, like 5 years ago, I was lacking the skills to do it. But after five years of gaining experience and training, I decided to start with this project. So we are building EDGEcity, which is a digital city dedicated to art and fashion. This is like one of the first look. This is all my designs that you see in the project. Okay, what is the problem with the metaverse right now? First, I would say that there is no one definition of metaverse, and everybody has their own definition. But regarding what we think about the metaverse, it is an interconnected network of virtual worlds where ownership and accessibility is key. So basically, the problem right now, what we see is basically this. In many blockchain games and blockchain environments, people don't spend that much time in comparison to regular gaming. In the regular gaming projects like Roblox or Fortnite, people have a great ability to meet together, build stuff together. And actually the brands, like the fashion brands and the luxury brands, actually they jumped on board and they are playing there. But what is the problem? There is no interoperability of the assets. They are staying on the platform. The users can't freely take them away and sell it on the external marketplace. And also what I saw, there is no virtual world dedicated to art and fashion actually. So our solution for this, and taking account my experiences and the experiences of my team, we decided to run a digital city that will be interconnected, that will be interoperable, that the assets that you get in the platform, you can freely get out with them and sell it on others, exchange whatever you like. We want to create this one address, which is recognized as the art and fashion capital, like this one place to be where you want to showcase art and fashion in a good quality, in a good surroundings with good people. We focus on 4 parts of this, of the metaverse right now. It is basically digital fashion and skins. So regarding working with fashion brands, regarding young designers, digital designers, people coming from Web3 to Web2, from Web2 to Web3, we are basically helping them and launching a set of tools that will help them to launch the careers into the metaverse. The other big element is, of course, events, music events, art events, meeting events, workshop. All that could happen actually in the metaverse, and we have like a good content and good quality partners for it. In the same time, the main reason to be there, it's actually art exhibitions. But when we say art, we mean all art. So music is art, fashion is art. There are all kinds of art that could be exhibitioned in a space, and there are interesting ways you can do that for your community. And the last part is tech and gaming. We see a lot of gaming projects and tech projects coming into metaverse, trying to showcase their technology. We found a very good way and very good solutions for them so they could showcase the art as well in our city. For example, by setting up meta commerce shops where people can actually buy 3D assets that are created by the company. EDGEcity will be divided to 10 districts, with every district having a different idea, different style. and all will be governed by a DAO. Every piece of the city is a NFT which is called Artland, and there will be 100 Artlands minted in the story of our journey. There will be also another Genesis district for artists that we invited. It is a very cool group of people that have big talents in working both in enterprises and in creative space. As for now, in our members, you can find artists, designers, DJs, brands, creative agencies, collectors of any kinds, investor clubs, and business owners of different projects. They will form the EDGEcity Council. So basically, the DAO ruling the decisions about the city. Something like art direction, tools we are using, little politics. I mean, relationships with other metaverses, with other virtual worlds. So I think this will be a very interesting experiment on governance and DAOs as well. We have amazing artists that are preparing very good 3D models for our city and also for the brands we are collaborating with. We have 10 artists like this. Here's the selection of the 3 that I really love, but they are all awesome. What are our superpowers? We have support from Polygon and Polygon Studios. We got it right away on the idea stage last year. We got some little grants, we got some little help. It happened in December. So we are really early. Yeah, it's like 2 months from this time. We managed to already gather very good partnerships, and especially I'm proud about partnerships with creative agencies, because right now, like just today, I had like 8 calls or 9 calls, and 1 call was basically one of the best creative agencies in the world, running best fashion brands, best celebrities, best artists in US and in both North and South America, and we just signed a deal. So basically, we'll be supporting them in organizing events and fashion shows for their artists. But also, we have a lot of NFT marketplaces that want to showcase their collections in our city, and also tech partners who want to support us with giving us the 3D technology and all the protocols and fashion protocols, shopping protocols that are needed to actually build the city and build the whole ecosystem. As I mentioned, we are pretty early. But in the same time, the amount of projects, the amount of interest we are getting allowed us to actually start fundraising right now. We have interest from very, very good and global VCs that are investing on early stage, but also we have interest from best like gaming VCs and blockchain companies. For the beginning, of course, it was self-founded by me and also with this little grant from Polygon. With this money, we managed to build like our social media standing and websites and everything. We also had some first revenue by selling our pre-sale buildings and some passes. So we are also after some first revenue. And the round we are trying to raise right now, it should basically happen in the next 2 months, 3 months, I guess. It is for basically developing the needed infrastructure, hiring the right talent for it, because of course, regarding the virtual reality, AR, and this kind of technologies, the talent is really expensive. So we need this money a bit to develop more into the infrastructure. We'll do the integrations of the wallets right now, of course, first MetaMask and Venly, because these are our partners. But of course, in the future, we want to be blockchain agnostic and be able to work with any kind of blockchain, any project who is actually delivering in a Web3 space. Our main revenue will be coming from avatars, buildings, and digital fashion that we are both designing, collaborating with, or selling through the partners. I think the other important point on the roadmap, you can see that the finish of the finish phase of the building of the city will be in 2023, because we plan to launch 1 new district every quarter. So it will take us time to build the right community, build the right partnerships, and of course to work with the bandwidth and the possibilities in streaming and showcasing elements in browser and mobile apps. Right now, that's what is stopping us a bit. It's basically the streaming. But we are developing our infrastructure. We are developing the smart contracts of ourselves, but also in partnership with amazing big projects, like top projects on Polygon, who will be supporting us with the protocol matter. we are obviously building like a visual layer on top of protocols and marketplaces. So that's a very important element of our strategy, to be able to onboard any protocol if they're interested in doing it, building their own custom solution inside our city. Yes, I think, thank you very much. I would love to build city with you guys. Very interesting talents and very interesting opinions already. So if you're interested in joining at any point, send me a line on metaverse@maison.dao world and we can take it from there. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Simon. So I guess, Alison, you want to go first? I saw you.
Yes,
Yeah.
I would love to. Simon, this is really wonderful. I believe that you are addressing a need that a huge market, emerging market doesn't know they have, but they will find this something that they want to go to. So I believe that there's such a need for a design first. I'm interpreting this as a design first, art first, metaverse space.
Exactly.
And that is missing today. And there's an incredible amount of energy that I think would be directed towards this. And so I really like to see that you're being thoughtful about your strategic partnerships. And I would encourage you to continue to dig into being very thoughtful about who you work with in these early stages. And ensure too that those partnerships will generate stories that will captivate your future audience, because they're going to need time to understand this. There's going to be a lot of activity in coming quarters and years, and they're going to need time and they're going to need stories. Then take those stories you generate and dig into PR, and dig into PR in many different outlets across a spectrum. And I'd be happy to talk to you about some ideas around that as well offline. But like there's an incredible amount of energy that I think you could tap into if you play this right. So I was really excited to see that. Be very careful about who you work with and how that space emerges and how it will inspire others to come in.
Yes, thank you very much. I believe exactly one of the reasons I'm building this is the inspiration. Yeah, because we are building one of the first project like this, which is driven by artists, and they're really creating like a whole new digital city. So I think, yeah, I wanted to be inspiring inside of it, yeah, by the synergy of the artists that are on board. So I think, yeah, thank you very much for your opinions. I would love to connect later on.
Great. So who wants to go next?
I can go quickly next. Thank you, Simon. That was a nice presentation. I'm not an expert on NFTs. Actually, I'm a failed and a regretful not owner of punks or apes or anything like that. Because
as many of us, right? Like as many of us.
As many of us, yes, exactly. However, one of the things that I'm really starting to learn as I dig deep more into these different communities, crypto communities and stuff like that, is do not close yourself. Do not close your metaverse, because I've seen some of these metaverses, in different areas, not on more on technology or things like that, but open yourself to the other metaverses, to the Decentralands, to the Illuviums, to the CryptoKitties, whatever it is, to the apes, to the build relationships with a lot of these communities, because they are very open and very eager to open their nets. No, I think the success of your metaverse is only as successful as the content and the people that you bring inside of it. So it's not only about the brands, it's not only about also having curated and very nice new design content, but it's also being able to allow, and hopefully that's something that you're thinking of, allowing other communities, like allowing the punks and the apes and the and the bots and whatever NFT type of activity, to be able to bring their NFTs or their designs into your product, or bridging into the Decentraland, bridging into Illuvium and some of these other new type of metaverses.
Sure. Thank you very much, Christopher, for your opinions here. I will right away tell you about two things. First thing, our idea of working with other metaverses, it's exactly, we have a program already in place for it. It's called EDGEcity Embassy, which means basically that we are acquiring or getting the land in different metaverses, opening embassy there, right, for our contacts with the metaverse to exactly talk about all of these issues that you mentioned. Yeah, like how we can integrate, how we can, for example, right, like that's exactly the case. How many there are like avatar projects right there out there, and we are talking to one of the fastest growing now metaverse project regarding, like, they also have like 10K avatars, and that's exactly what I told them. Yeah, like, come to me, we can build you a nice private club. We can integrate your avatars into the city, so your community can actually have their own space for it, and they are super excited. And this is one of the biggest projects actually right now. So yeah, definitely looking forward to testing some of the things you mentioned, but you know, in practice, right? But right now we have these plans to accommodate these issues and to work with other metaverses. Cool. Basically, it's a part of the presentation. I didn't, you know, I was not reading it. You probably see that. Yeah, I was not reading the presentation. So the stuff I didn't say, I think it was basically that in 2 years, our city will be a community of 100 communities. And that's how I exactly phrase this project, right? It's not about me doing stuff, because I'm the connector, you know, I was always networking, connecting people, and that's what I love to do, right? And I figure out that it's for this project, that could be exactly the selling point, yeah? Good community with synergies between them, so they can collaborate, make together projects, you know, do something in the other metaverse, all of that. Looking forward.
Thanks. So, cool. Alex, you want to go next? Our realist?
Yeah, sure. Okay, first of all, I think you're in a very good space. One thing to keep in mind is, like, you have VCs interested, people are saying good things, like just don't let that get to you. You don't have anything right now. It's basically still a failure until it's a success. And if you think you're successful now, that's what's going to cause this to fail. Now, I think there's still some big gaps in what you're building, and I think the biggest one is technology, right? Like, you put Polygon Studios on your deck, like, that's just of course Polygon wants more people to build on them, and they'll be nice to you guys and talk to you guys. You guys are a collection of talented artists, and that's very important for this type of project. But, like, you're competing. So if you look at the space in the next 5 years, it's going to be absolutely massive, right? But you know, if you look at Artifact, RTFKT,
yeah, sure.
Nike just acquired them. They're probably the most talented team in the NFT space right now, I think, and they're sort of building this fashion world, right? That's sort of what you're going after. But they're also, technology is insanely good, and it's probably like they're probably the most talented artists in the space with some of the best tech behind it, and now they have Nike behind them, right? And so these are the people you're competing against. So if you,
yeah,
right. So, like, I'm just saying that if you want this to be successful, you're gonna really have to get deeper on the tech side. And also, just something to keep in mind that I've noticed with NFT projects, like if you look at MFers, right? Like that's a project that's doing really well. Punks and Apes, like a lot of these projects that have done well have done very low mint prices, have stayed under the radar at launch. Like, I would say almost like, don't try to get PR for this. Just keep the community natural. Try not to make too much money off the early sale. You make money off the resale, right? You get 5% of every resale, and you let your early community make 100x. Like, what do you care? You're making 5% off every sale. Once the project's more valuable, then you have a whole community of people out there talking about your project, right? But, like, just keep in mind that, you know, it's not just Artifact. There's probably 100 artifacts building against you right now, and they probably have, like, extremely talented tech alongside their artists. So I'd say there's a huge opportunity, but, like, it's going to be very hard to get there, and, like, you really have to get the tech on your side if you want to win.
Sure. Thank you very much, Alex. No, I really appreciate. I agree with you with most of the stuff. Basically, clearly regarding the tech, that's exactly why we are looking for strategic partners right now, right? Like, I'm totally honest about it. Yeah, like we are looking for tech partnerships with companies who would like to support with the strategic guidance as well and the tech capabilities. But I wouldn't agree with this last point about Artifact. I just mean we are not this kind of project. We are the project to onboard Artifact in our city. Basically, that would be the grand scheme, right? We want to have like the best project in like 2 years, I believe. You know, not every best project will be on the platform, but basically, you know, most of them should be there. Yeah, like, you know, out of 100 best projects on my platform should be at least 20 of them, yeah, or like 30. So I'm working with this from the other a little bit other perspective. Yeah, I'm not trying to build my own protocol to unify everyone because I know it's not possible, and I would need like 500 people to do this. But in the same time, I can build a visual layer where all of these amazing talents that you're mentioning, they can just switch, like not switch, but connect. And thanks to this, have something great for their community, but also, of course, yeah, for us, it would allow for more users. So basically, I think, yeah, it's not like I fully disagree, but I'm just saying like I'm not positioning myself as a competition to Artifact because Artifact is like a content creator for me. Yeah.
Thanks, Simon. Let's give some time to Rohan, and also we need to have the conclusion, and people have on the West Coast mostly. I'm worried about the West Coast in the US.
No, thank you. Sorry, I love to talk so.
Don't worry. That's what I'm here for. So, Rohan.
Yeah. As someone who works in the VC industry, I feel like I need to step up and say that what Alex said is interesting, but not something I would take with a pinch of salt, because I believe that we in the VC industry are very actively looking for metaverse companies. So we're throwing money left, right, and center. So what's important right now is not getting the highest valuation, but it's more about getting investors that have a good, not just a track record, but they have other portfolio companies that could have synergies with you guys.
Yeah.
Because
that's what I'm looking for. Yeah.
Because I'm sure you won't have problems getting term sheets and at very high valuations, but what you need to have is people that can really actually connect with collaborators and help you in the long term. So that's something I would really look forward to. And I'm going to keep it brief because I believe others might want to, there might be some concluding statement that have to come after some.
Sure, thank you very much.
Well, thank you guys. So now we're going to wrap up the whole event. We're going to the conclusion. I don't know, I really enjoyed it. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. It's the first time I do it. I never thought I was doing this, but I really enjoyed it. I kind of liked it, to be honest. So it was great. I loved you guys. It was so good. And yeah, so I don't know if each one of you takes a little bit, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. We have 50 minutes left to give your own conclusions and how you want to connect further. Please go ahead.
Tony.
Sorry, Diego. Diego, you go mute. Guys, yes. So I don't know who wants to go first from the advisors. Also, this is a free moment. So
I'll do it. I'll go first. So yeah, look, I think there's a lot of excitement about Web3. As somebody who started a Web3 protocol, like, you know, people could say that Aelin has done well for where it's at right now, but like, I guess the person that I don't really have a technically a boss, but the person I report to is very critical, let's just say, and not the nicest person always. And that sort of is not always great to get that type of feedback or stuff, but it's very helpful to get feedback from very successful, talented people. And, you know, it doesn't matter what form or shape it comes in. You really want to, another thing is like, keep your ears to the ground on Twitter. Like, there's just so much going on. And I've been working in the blockchain space for the past 4 years, and I've been a developer for longer than that. And I only know a fraction of what's happening, but I still feel like I'm sort of on the cutting edge, right, of everything. And like, I understand a lot of what's happening. And even then, like, I didn't come up with the idea for the project that I'm working on. It's just really hard. It's really hard to come up with good ideas for Web3. It's really hard to compete. You're competing against everyone in the world, and it's an open protocol and open system. And like, there's very talented people everywhere, and the best ideas are gonna draw a flood of projects, right? So if you guys have an amazing idea and it seems like everything's working smoothly and you're about to launch, and there's probably 100 other projects about to do the same thing. So you really have to work hard in this space. You have to push, and you have to find your edge, and you have to keep pushing, and it just never stops. Like this is much more stressful than Web 2. This is much more competitive. This is the future. Web 2 is the glory days are done, right? And probably in the next 10 years, we're going to see a lot of new interesting things come up. And there's not going to be that many winners, right? There's going to be like a lot of winners, but in each category, it's going to be dominated by a few players, right? So if you guys really, really, really want to come in and make a statement, otherwise, like, what are you even doing, right? You're going to have to like really dive deeper into Web3. You're going to have to like, it's just really tough, but the rewards are insane, right? And just keep in mind that there's a lot of smart competition, and getting funding, and there's a lot of capital as a commodity, right? And I would say that, like, you know, you want a community, you want a good product, there's so many things to keep in mind. It's very difficult, but I would say good luck to everyone, and just like, don't go in with rose-eyed glasses. Go in knowing that you're in it for like a war, basically. And if you don't want to fight a war and you're not ready for that sort of like death march, then you're not going to make it. So good luck.
I can build on what Alex said. Alex said, there's going to be few winners, and there'll be more winners in Web 2, but there's going to be few winners. And what it comes down to, even though this is about technology, is about connecting to people. And so it's, you got to get the tech right, but you must connect to people where they are or where they're headed. So I mentioned on one of these, like, do research, talk to people, do that, but also do it with a grain of salt, because you might be coming up with something that's ahead of where their head is at. So just be very thoughtful about the human element of this.
Cool. I can maybe continue. One of the areas I know a lot of you guys have talked about DAOs, governance, looking into expanding into that. I work a lot. I work at least 3 projects where I'm actually an advisor or part of a council of the DAOs. And I can tell you it is very, very, very difficult. I guess Alex can tell you the same, of governing protocols, because there is no norm, there is no standards, there is no framework about what's the best way. Every project is doing something different, from Uniswap to Synthetics to Aave to Compound. If you grab the big projects, they're all doing something different for governance, and some things are great, some other things may not be great. And so you need to look, for example, if you're working on a metaverse or you're working on a DeFi project, or things like that, look at the governance structure that makes sense for your project itself. Things like councils, like I think you mentioned recently, seem to be a proven way of working. Token voting is definitely something that is not really working appropriately. So if you're going to do voting by everybody based on their token allocation, you may be very much attacked. Don't subestimate, once you launch a token, once you go with a DAO, even if it's not a full DAO, it's just an indicator. You want your community to indicate where to go by voting and things like that. Don't subestimate the hard work that it is to manage that, because we've seen very, very big protocols in the Web3 space actually getting busted because of bad governance, where a voting, a policy, a change was actually executed, and a lot of money was taken out of the DAO because they just had bad governance, or somebody really played well the game. So there are no rules written. This is an area still being very much discovered, and I do wish you the best. Look at what the big players are doing. Synthetics is definitely one of those that are really moving the bar in terms of how to manage governance of a protocol, but as well many of the other ones. So that will be my little piece of advice to all the projects over there.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Christopher.
Those good points about DAOs, I think.
Just to
we're missing.
wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, and just to wrap up. well, this is very interesting, and I believe we're at a crossroads as well from a Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. So it's a very unique time to be in. There's a lot of crossroads and opportunities to explore. From what we have seen, from what I've seen, is that it's not usually the best or most innovative idea that wins. It's the team or the idea that's willing to pivot and is flexible enough to understand that sometimes things are not working and the original plan needs to be adjusted to fit the product market fit. Instead of trying to build a market that fits the product, sometimes it's better to have it's sometimes better to have a market that fits the product. Sorry, I kind of lost myself halfway through that. Sometimes it's better to have a market that fits the product itself. And so what I will also say is that VCs have a lot of dry powder right now, and they are heavily investing into companies at very crazy valuations. So I would advise that perhaps don't always just go for the ones that send you the biggest term sheets, but look at ones that have a good track record where they can show you what they've done for previous companies, because you're at a stage where you definitely need support and guidance. And this would come from having VCs that are actually doing active portfolio management instead of just giving you a check and ticket size, because you need a lot of stuff besides just money to grow in the sector at the moment.
Okay, great. Anything from the startups to conclude? Let's do.
Yes, Thomas, I'd like to wish all the best of success to Ben and Simon, because it's a difficult industry and it's a big effort that we have to do in order to distinguish our projects from all this noise. Just we are practically right now on a launchpad, we're collecting money, and we have 6,000 other projects on this launchpad. So it's it's very difficult, but as all of the advisors mentioned, we have to be persistent, and we have to execute right. We have to have a good team and to focus to give value back to the users. Because if you give value back to the people, people will come to you.
Thank you, John.
Yeah, I think on that point, what Alison said, like just try not to focus too much on the tech and realize that there are human beings at the end of these apps and these products, and focus on what they want and what they need, and you're going to succeed.
Sure. Thank you, guys. And regarding me, yeah, I also wanted to wish all the best for other projects and the advisors also on their journeys. We are all we are all working in a heavy industries in a way, because AI, machine learning, all of this stuff is it is heavy, but yeah, I hope you will all succeed. And regarding my side of the presentation and the plans, just wanted to come back to a little thing Alex said about like rosy glasses, right? Like being positive. Like, of course, yeah, we as founders, we have to be, yeah, we have no other way, basically, yeah, like we have no choice, yeah. If somebody tells us you are too optimistic, okay, yeah, like maybe, yeah, I'm too excited about my own project or something. But from the other side, I wanted to say that I don't know about you guys, yeah, but I have like startup experience. Yeah, I had my first startup like 10 years ago, and working in this high stress environment, and struggling with everything and all the stuff. I think this kind of experience is super important in Web3 actually, right? Because that's Web3 is like a big startup playground, I would say, but with much more people in it because they have more stakes. So I wish you all the best, and I'm looking to maybe next meetings we'll have together, or some professional or other relationships outside of this meeting.
Great.
See you directly in your metaverse, or see you directly in your metaverse in with some avatars or stuff like that. So
yes, exactly.
That would be cool. Yeah. So thank you, everyone. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for your time. You were all really good. So appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks for arranging, Thomas.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye. Pleasure. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.